Nebula-7 Station, the heart of the Vela System in the treacherous expanse of the Vela System, where radiation storms rage and pirate fleets prowl. Nebula-7 Station stands as a lone beacon of civilization, or what passes for it in this lawless corner of the galaxy. Perched at the edge of a turbulent nebula, its silhouette glimmers faintly against the swirling clouds of ionized gas, a monument to ambition, desperation, and the fragile hope of survival. In the year 3427, Nebula-7 is more than a way station. It is a crucible where the fates of worlds are forged, a place where secrets of the ancient Nameless Relics are unearthed, and where the shadow of the Oblivion Ray looms ever closer. The structure of Nebula-7 Station is a marvel of engineering, a sprawling complex that defies the hostile environment of the Vela System. Shaped like a massive, multi-tiered spindle, the station stretches over 10 kilometers from end to end, its central axis rotating to simulate gravity for its inhabitants. Its outer hull, forged from a reinforced titanium ceramic alloy, is pitted and scarred from centuries of micrometeorite impacts and radiation exposure, yet it remains unyielding. The hull is studded with arrays of solar panels and plasma shields, which glow faintly as they deflect the nebula's relentless particle storms. The station is divided into 5 primary sectors, each serving a distinct purpose. The core spire, the central hub, housing the station's fusion reactors and command center. The spire is a labyrinth of control rooms, holographic displays, and AI-driven systems that monitor everything from life support to external threats. It is here that the station's governing council, a fractious coalition of scientists, merchants, and mercenaries, makes decisions that shape Nebula-7's precarious existence. The research docks, located at the station's lower tiers. These sprawling laboratories are dedicated to studying the Vela System's anomalies, including the Nameless Relics discovered on nearby Vela 9. The docks are filled with cutting-edge equipment, from quantum scanners to particle accelerators, but their dimly lit corridors and abandoned sections hint at experiments gone awry. The commerce rings, the bustling middle tiers, where traders, smugglers, and travelers converge. The rings are a chaotic marketplace of neon-lit stalls, black market tech shops, and seedy bars. Here, every currency in the galactic concord is traded, from digital credits to rare isotopes, and information is as valuable as any commodity. The Residential Hives, cramped, overcrowded living quarters for the station's 50,000 inhabitants. The hives are a melting pot of species, humans, Zynari, Klythari, and others, living in uneasy coexistence. The air is thick with the hum of life support systems and the clamor of daily life, from street vendors hawking synthetic food to children playing in the shadow of rusting bulkheads. The outer defenses, the station's fortified rim, bristling, with plasma cannons, missile launchers, and drone swarms. The defenses are manned by a ragtag militia, constantly vigilant against pirate raids and the nebula's unpredictable storms. Massive observation domes offer panoramic views of the nebula's roiling clouds, their beauty a stark contrast to the danger they conceal. The station's exterior is illuminated by a network of lights that pulse rhythmically, a signal to approaching ships that Nebula-7 is operational. Yet, beneath this facade of order lies a sense of decay. Entire sections of the station are sealed off, their corridors dark and silent, abandoned after accidents or failed experiments. Whispers among the inhabitants speak of strange phenomena in these dead zones, flickering lights, unintelligible murmurs, and sightings of shadowy figures that vanish into the walls. The role of Nebula-7 in the Galaxy Nebula-7 Station was originally constructed 300 years ago by the Galactic Concord as a research outpost to study the Vela System's unique astrophysical properties. The nebula, rich in exotic particles and gravitational anomalies, was seen as a potential source of revolutionary energy technologies. However, the station's isolation and the Vela System's dangers soon made it a haven for those operating beyond conquered law, scientists pursuing forbidden research, smugglers evading taxes, and mercenaries seeking refuge. By 3427, Nebula-7 has become a critical node in the galaxy's underbelly. It is a place where information about the Oblivion Ray and the Nameless Relics is traded in hushed tones, where alliances are forged and broken, and where the desperate seek answers to the galaxy's greatest mystery, the station's research. Docs have recently uncovered a relic on Vela 9, a discovery that has drawn the attention of figures like Zyra Thalor, whose work threatens to unravel the secrets of the Oblivion Ray, or awaken its wrath. The station's strategic position also makes it a flashpoint for conflict. Pirate factions, such as the Vulture Syndicate, frequently target its supply convoys, while rogue AIs and cultists worshipping the Oblivion Ray as a divine force lurk in the shadows. The Galactic Concord maintains a nominal presence, but its authority is weak, leaving Nebula-7 to govern itself through a fragile balance of power. The inhabitants of Nebula-7 is home to a diverse and volatile population, each group contributing to the station's chaotic ecosystem. The scientists, led by figures like Zyra Thalor, the Zynari researcher, the scientific community is driven by a mix of curiosity and hubris. They study the Nameless Relics with a fervor, bordering on obsession, believing their discoveries could reshape the galaxy. Yet, their experiments often come at a cost. Malfunctions, radiation leaks, and unexplained disappearances are common in the research docks. The merchants and smugglers, the commerce rings are ruled by cunning traders like Varakesh, a human broker who deals in everything from stolen tech to classified conquered data. Smugglers use Nebula-7 as a staging ground for runs through the nebula, navigating its storms to deliver contraband to distant systems. The militia. The station's defenders, a mix of ex-soldiers, mercenaries, and volunteers, are led by Commander Joran Holt, a grizzled human veteran. The militia is underfunded and overstretched, struggling to protect the station from external threats and internal unrest. The underclass. The residential hives are filled with laborers, refugees, and outcasts who keep the station running. They live in cramped conditions, their lives dictated by the whims of the station's elite. Among them are whispers of a growing resistance, fueled by resentment and fear of the Oblivion Ray. The outsiders. Non-human species like the Klythari, represented by Rykk'thar, are a minority on Nebula-7. Their presence is tolerated but often met with suspicion, especially as tensions rise over the relic discoveries. Other species, such as the insectoid Vraxi and the energy-based Solari, add to the station's cultural complexity. The inhabitants are united by a shared sense of precariousness. Nebula-7 is a place where survival depends on adaptability, and trust is a rare commodity. Every interaction is a transaction, every alliance temporary. Yet, beneath the surface, there is a flicker of hope, a belief that the station's discoveries could save the galaxy from the Oblivion Ray. Connection to the Nameless Relics and the Oblivion Ray. Nebula-7's significance in Curse beneath the stars stems from its proximity to Vela 9, a barren planet where a Nameless Relic was recently uncovered. This inverted pyramid, buried deep beneath the planet's surface, mirrors those found on Arendor and Calypsa. Its walls are etched with glowing symbols, and its core emits oscillations identical to those recorded during Oblivion Ray attacks. Zyra Thalor's team believes this relic holds clues to the weapon's origins, but their findings have stirred unease. The relic's discovery has intensified activity on Nebula-7. Scientists work around the clock, analyzing data from Vela 9, while rumors of the Oblivion Ray spread panic among the inhabitants. Some believe the relic is a warning, left by an ancient civilization to prevent others from repeating their mistakes. Others, including a secretive cult known as the Starless Covenant, worship the Oblivion Ray as a divine force, viewing the relics as altars to their god. The cult's presence on the station adds a layer of paranoia as their members sabotage equipment and spread propaganda. The station's history is also tied to the relics. Decades ago, an earlier expedition to Vela 9 ended in disaster when a research team vanished after activating a relic's core. The incident, known as the Vela 9 Cataclysm, left behind only garbled transmissions describing light without sound, and symbols that scream. The parallels to the Oblivion Ray are unmistakable, and Kael Voryn's arrival on Nebula-7 is driven by his belief that the station holds answers to his past. The atmosphere of Nebula-7 is a place of contrasts. Brilliant innovation juxtaposed with decay, hope overshadowed by dread. The station's corridors are a maze of flickering lights and humming machinery, their walls covered in graffiti and faded Concord insignias. The air is recycled, carrying a faint metallic tang, and the constant vibration of the station's rotation is a reminder of its fragility. In the commerce rings, neon signs buzz and music blares, but the laughter is often forced, masking the fear that permeates daily life. The research docks where Zyra conducts her work are particularly eerie. Their sterile labs are illuminated by harsh white lights, but the deeper sections are shrouded in darkness, their equipment abandoned after failed experiments. Strange phenomena plague these areas: temperature drops, distorted comm signals, and the sensation of being watched. Some researchers claim to have seen the relic's symbols appear briefly on their screens, unprompted, as if the station itself is haunted by the ancient civilization. The outer defenses, where the militia stands guard, offer breathtaking views of the nebula's swirling clouds, their colors shifting from crimson to violet. But the beauty is deceptive. The nebula is a graveyard of ships, their wreckage drifting in the void, and its storms can erupt without warning, bathing the station in lethal radiation. The Defenders' observation domes are both a vantage point and a reminder of their vulnerability. Kael, Zyra, and Rykk'thar on Nebula-7 is the crucible where the story's protagonists converge. Kael Voryn arrives seeking answers about the Oblivion Ray, his past on Calypso driving him to confront the relic's secrets. The station's chaotic environment tests his instincts as a bounty hunter, forcing him to navigate alliances with Zyra and Rykk'thar while dodging threats from pirates and cultists. Zyra Thalor, stationed in the research docks, is at the heart of the relic investigation. Her discovery of the Vela 9 relic has made her a target, both for those who fear her findings and those who covet them. The station's resources enable her work, but its dangers, sabotage, espionage, and the relic's own mysteries push her to the brink. Rykk'thar, the Klythari warrior, is an outsider on Nebula-7. His presence tolerated only because of the looming threat to his homeworld, Klythar Prime. The station's prejudice against his kind fuels his distrust, but he grudgingly allies with Zyra and Kael, recognizing that the relic may be his people's only hope. Together, they navigate Nebula-7's treacherous landscape, from tense negotiations in the commerce rings to perilous expeditions to Vela 9. The station becomes a microcosm of the galaxy's struggles: ambition versus survival, unity versus division, and the quest for truth against the fear of annihilation. The future of Nebula-7's curse beneath the stars unfolds. Nebula-7 Station stands on the precipice of destiny. The relic on Vela 9 could unlock the secrets of the Oblivion Ray, offering a chance to end its reign of terror, or it could trigger a catastrophe that engulfs the station and beyond. The choices made by Kael, Zyra, and Rykk'thar will determine whether Nebula-7 becomes a beacon of hope or another victim of the curse beneath the stars. The station's inhabitants, from scientists to outcasts, are caught in this unfolding drama. Their lives, shaped by the station's harsh realities, reflect the broader themes of the story: the cost of ambition, the fragility of unity, and the enduring human and non-human drive to survive. Nebula-7 is not just a setting. It is a character, in its own right, a testament to resilience in the face of cosmic horror. Nebula-7 Station, crucible of the curse. The Vela System was a graveyard of stars, its nebula a swirling maelstrom of crimson and violet gases that churned like the dreams of a dying god. At its edge, Nebula-7 Station hung like a battered lantern, its flickering lights a fragile defiance against the void. In 3427, This sprawling spindle of metal and desperation was more than a way station. It was the epicenter of a galactic mystery, a place where the secrets of the Nameless Relics and the Oblivion Ray collided with the ambitions and fears of those who called it home. For Kael Voryn, Zyra Thalor, and Rykk'thar, Nebula-7 was where their paths converged, where the truth about the cosmic massacres began to unravel, and where the line between salvation and annihilation grew perilously thin. Arrival at Nebula-7. Kael Voryn's ship, Void Blade, emerged from hyperspace with a shudder, its hull glowing faintly from the heat of re-entry. The nebula's turbulent clouds loomed ahead, their colors shifting like a predator's eyes. Kael's cockpit screens flickered with warnings: radiation spikes, gravitational anomalies, and the ever-present threat of pirate ambushes. He had narrowly escaped the Vulture Syndicate's trap hours earlier, but the Vela System offered no respite. Nebula-7 Station appeared on his sensors, a jagged silhouette against the nebula's glow, its rotating axis a beacon in the chaos. As Void Blade approached, Kael marveled at the station's size. 10 kilometers long, its multi-tiered structure was a testament to human ingenuity and hubris. The outer hull, scarred by centuries of micrometeorite impacts, gleamed dully under the station's pulsing lights. Plasma shields flickered, deflecting the nebula's particle storms, while massive observation domes offered glimpses of the roiling clouds beyond. Kael had seen his share of outposts, but Nebula-7 was different. A place where hope and despair coexisted, where answers to the Oblivion Ray might lie buried in its labyrinthine depths. The docking bay opened like a yawning maw, and Kael guided Void Blade inside, the ship's engines humming as it settled onto a platform. The bay was a cacophony of activity: robotic arms unloading cargo, technicians shouting in a dozen languages, and the low hum of drones scanning for contraband. Kael stepped out, his combat boots clanging against the metal floor. The air was thick with the scent of ozone and recycled oxygen, tinged with the faint metallic tang of machinery. A holographic sign flickered above: "Welcome to Nebula-7. Survive and thrive." Kael's comm device buzzed, and Zyra Thalor's voice crackled through. "You're late, Voryn. Meet me in the research docks, Sector 4, Level 12. Don't keep me waiting." Her tone was sharp, but Kael caught the undercurrent of urgency. He adjusted his goggles, slung his plasma rifle over his shoulder, and headed into the station's heart, wary of the eyes that followed him. Mercenaries, traders, and shadowy figures lurking in the corners. The pulse of Nebula. Nebula-7 was a microcosm of the galaxy's chaos, a place where the galactic Concord's laws were more suggestion than mandate. Its 5 sectors buzzed with life, each a world unto itself. The core spire, where the station's fusion reactors thrummed, was a fortress of control, its command center manned by a council of uneasy allies, scientists like Zyra, merchants with their own agendas, and militia leaders like Commander Joran Holt, who struggled to maintain order. The commerce rings, a neon-lit maze of stalls and bars, thrummed with the energy of trade and deceit, where information about the Nameless Relics was as valuable as rare isotopes. The Residential Hives housed 50,000 souls, their cramped quarters, a breeding ground for resentment and rebellion. The outer defenses, bristling with weapons, stood as the station's shield against the nebula's wrath and pirate raids. And the research docks, where Zyra worked, were the station's beating heart, a place where the secrets of Vela 9's relic threatened to change everything. Kael navigated the commerce rings first, his senses assaulted by the chaos. Neon signs advertised synthetic food, black market tech, and questionable services. A Vraxi merchant, its mandibles clicking, offered him a stolen Concord data chip. Kael waved it off, his eyes scanning for threats. The rings were a powder keg. Rival factions, from smugglers to cultists of the Starless Covenant, eyed each other warily. The Covenant, who worshipped the Oblivion Ray as a divine cleanser, had grown bolder, their graffiti, swirling symbols eerily similar to those on the Nameless Relics, defacing the walls. Kael's hand rested on his rifle, a reflex honed by years of survival. The Residential Hives were no less tense. Families of humans, Zynari, and other species lived in cramped, rusting quarters, their faces etched with fatigue. Kael overheard whispers of the Oblivion Ray, of worlds like Arendor reduced to ash. Fear hung heavy, and he felt it too, a gnawing dread that the answers he sought on Nebula-7 might lead to more loss. The research docks and the relic's shadow Kael reached the research docks, a sprawling complex of sterile labs and shadowy corridors. The air here was colder, the hum of machinery louder, punctuated by the occasional spark from overworked equipment. Zyra Thalor waited in a lab on level 12, her gem-like eyes fixed on a holographic display. The hologram showed an inverted pyramid, buried beneath Vela 9's surface, its walls etched with glowing symbols, identical to those Kael had seen on Arendor and Calypsa. At its center, a pulsating energy core emitted oscillations that matched the Oblivion Ray's signature. "You took your time," Zyra said, not looking up. Her Zynari fingers danced through the air, manipulating the hologram with energy pulses only her species could wield. "This is it, Kael. The relic on Vela 9. It's older than anything in Conquered records, and its core is alive." Kael's jaw tightened. "Alive? You mean it's active?" Zyra nodded, her voice low. "The oscillations are increasing. We detected them a week ago, and they're growing stronger. The same pattern was recorded on Arendor before..." She trailed off, but Kael didn't need her to finish. He knew what came next. Light, silence, annihilation. Before he could respond, a guttural growl interrupted. Rykk'thar, the Klythari warrior, loomed in the doorway, his metallic scales glinting under the lab's harsh lights. "If this relic is what you say, Thalor, why are we wasting time talking? My world is next, and I won't stand here while you play with holograms." Zyra's eyes flashed. "Patience, Rykk'thar. This isn't just about Klythar Prime. If we don't understand the relic, we could trigger something worse than the Oblivion Ray." Kael stepped between them, his voice cold. "Enough. You called me here, Zyra. Show me what you've got, or I'm gone." Zyra gestured to the hologram, zooming in on the relic's core. "We've been studying its energy signature. It's not just a power source, it's a signal, broadcasting into deep space. We think it's connected to the Oblivion Ray, maybe even controlling it. But there's more. The symbols on the walls. They're not just decorations. They're a language. And we're close to decoding it." Kael's mind flashed to Calypsa, to the symbols he'd seen before his world was erased. "And what happens if you decode it? You think you can stop it?" Zyra hesitated, a rare crack in her confidence. "I don't know. But if we don't, try. The Oblivion Ray will keep coming. Arendor was the 3rd planet in a year. How long before it hits Klythar Prime? Or Nebula-7? Rykk'thar snarled, his claws scraping the floor. "If your science fails, Thalor, my people will pay the price. I say we destroy the relic now." "That's not an option," Zyra snapped. "Destroying it could unleash the energy inside. We need to understand it first." Kael's eyes narrowed. "And what if it's a trap? Like Calypsa, like Arendor. You scientists poke at things you don't understand, and worlds die." The tension in the lab was palpable, a microcosm of Nebula-7's broader strife. The station was a pressure cooker, its inhabitants caught between fear of the Oblivion Ray and the allure of the relic's power. Zyra's team was under scrutiny, their experiments drawing suspicion from the militia and whispers of sabotage from the Starless Covenant. A crisis unfolds as, if on cue, a klaxon blared through the station, its wail echoing in the lab. The holographic display flickered, replaced by a security feed showing a breach in the research docks. A group of hooded figures, their robes marked with the Covenant's swirling symbols, had infiltrated a sealed section. They carried plasma torches and explosives, their intent clear: to sabotage Zyra's work. "Damn fanatics," Kael muttered, readying his rifle. "They're after the relic data." Zyra's fingers flew across a console, locking down the lab. "They've been trying to stop us since we found the relic. They think it's a holy artifact, that the Oblivion Ray is their god's will." Rykk'thar's eyes blazed red. "Let me handle them. I'll tear them apart." "No," Zyra said sharply. "We need them alive. They might know something about the relic we don't." Kael didn't wait for their argument to resolve. He sprinted toward the breach, navigating the dock's labyrinthine corridors. The air grew colder, the lights dimmer, as he entered a sealed section abandoned after the Vela 9 cataclysm decades ago. The walls were scorched, covered in faded warnings. "Do not enter. Contaminated zone." Kael ignored them, his goggles filtering the faint radiation. He found the intruders in a derelict lab, their torches cutting through a sealed vault. Inside, Kael glimpsed a fragment of a nameless relic, a piece of its wall, its symbols glowing faintly. The Covenant members chanted in a guttural tongue, their voices resonating with an eerie harmony. Kael didn't hesitate. He fired a warning. Shot, the plasma bolt sizzling past their leader's head. "Drop the torches," he growled, "or the next one goes through you." The leader, a gaunt human with feverish eyes, turned slowly. "You cannot stop the Ray's will, heretic. The stars must be cleansed." Kael's finger tightened on the trigger. But before he could fire, the symbols on the relic fragment pulsed violently. A low hum filled the air, and the ground trembled. The Covenant members froze, their chants faltering, as the hum grew into a deafening wail. Kael's comm device crackled with Zyra's voice. "Kael, get out! The relic's core is reacting!" He didn't need to be told twice. Grabbing the nearest cultist, he dragged them back as the lab shook, the relic fragments, glow intensifying. The other cultists screamed, clutching their heads as if the sound was tearing them apart. Kael reached the corridor just as the vault exploded in a burst of white light. Not the Oblivion Ray, but something close, a warning of its power. The station's burden back in Zyra's lab, the trio regrouped, the captured cultist bound and unconscious. The station's alarms had quieted, but the tension remained. Zyra's scans confirmed the relic fragment had emitted a signal matching the Oblivion Rays, but on a smaller scale. "It's like a test pulse," she said, her voice strained. "The relic on Vela 9 is still active. If we don't decode its language soon, we might trigger something catastrophic." Rykk'thar slammed a clawed fist against the wall. "Your science is a curse, Thalor. You'll doom us all." Kael ignored him, his mind racing. The cultists' words, the stars, must be cleansed, echoed the warnings from Calypsa, the logs from Arendor. The Nameless Relics weren't just artifacts. They were a network, a system designed by an ancient civilization for a purpose no one understood. Nebula-7, with its proximity to Vela 9, was now the front line in a battle against that purpose. The station's role in the story was clear. It was a crucible where Kael's vengeance, Zyra's ambition, and Rykk'thar's desperation collided. The commerce rings buzzed with rumors of the relic's activation, fueling panic and greed. The residential hives teetered on the edge of revolt, their inhabitants fearing Nebula-7's destruction. The militia, stretched thin, struggled to contain the Covenant's growing influence. And in the research docks, Zyra's team raced against time, their discoveries drawing the Oblivion Ray ever closer. A fragile alliance, Kael, Zyra, and Rykk'thar stood at a crossroads. Kael knew the station's answers came with a price. Every step toward the truth risked awakening the Oblivion Ray. Zyra's determination to decode the relic's language was unwavering, but her methods were reckless, echoing the mistakes of Calypsa's scientists. Rykk'thar's loyalty was to his people, and his patience was wearing thin. Yet, they needed each other. Kael's survival instincts, Zyra's intellect, and Rykk'thar's strength were their only hope against the cosmic threat. As they prepared to interrogate the cultist, the station's lights flickered, and a low hum resonated through the walls. The nebula outside pulsed, its colors darkening, as if responding to the relic's signal. Nebula-7 was no longer just a refuge. It was a battleground, a place where the galaxy's fate would be decided. The Oblivion Ray was coming, and the Nameless Relics held the key to stopping it, or unleashing it. Kael gripped his rifle, his eyes fixed on the hologram of Vela 9's relic. "We end this," he said, his voice steady despite the fear gnawing at him. "Or it ends us." Zyra nodded, her fingers already working to decode the symbols. Rykk'thar growled but stepped closer, his resolve hardening. Together they faced the unknown, bound by a fragile alliance forged in the shadow of Nebula-7's steel and secrets.